Sweet. Hangout is live now. All right. Great, 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 great. This is episode 16 of Game Insider's Brain Dump. Now, I'm going to give you all a long 2-hour explanation. I'm like, all right, this is what happened today. Swag, it was totally my fault. Problem with the other account that was Brain Dump. So I brought it over to Derek Smith's, my personal Google Plus account. And this is where we're going to keep it all the time. How you guys doing? Swag, what's going on, brother?
Oh, man, it's good to be back. Seems like it's been forever.
Yeah, it has. It actually has been forever. It really has. But we have a pretty good show for you guys. We want to just talk about some games we've been playing, a particular spotlight game with a chick named Fetch with purple hair. We're going to get into that. Topics of discussion today. I want to talk about some sales numbers that have come in from VGChartz. Now, I know a lot of you guys hate VGChartz or think that they're slanted one way or the next. But when you look at VGChartz numbers, based on the latest NPD numbers, let's say this. The latest NPD numbers pertaining to all of 2014, they've been very, 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 very close. So we can play with their numbers. We also want to talk about some opportunities we feel Microsoft has with the Xbox One in the coming months. We want to talk about some remasters that Microsoft needs to focus on possibly. We're going to talk about Beyond Two Souls coming to the PS4. We're going to talk about Warframe. Woo, I'm a swag fan. We're going to talk about Warframe. Yeah, and then we'll talk about Nintendo a little bit. Got some, to say about those guys. That's also trending back to the sales numbers. But head over to game-insider.com and get your gaming fix. We have a lot of updates going on over there. We also have an awesome, cool cover story on Rainbow Six Siege. That I was actually blessed to give it a write. It was a Q&A with them. It was awesome. In addition, we have head over to our Facebook fan page with facebook.com/Game Insider Magazine. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Game Insider Mag. So, Spotlight game. A game just came out recently. And I'm a huge fan of the series. I know, Joshua, I know you're a huge fan of the Infamous series from the PS3 days. Absolutely, man. We wrote the review on Infamous Second Son, and while we were excited about the game, I'm not going to sit here and say that the game delivered, but it was fun. It was fun. It's just that Cole McGrath. With Infamous 1 and 2, I walked away saying, okay, Delson Rowe, it was cool.
Yeah.
However, I thought that Infamous 1 and 2 were better experiences. So that's the downer when you're playing on more robust hardware, right?
Yeah, I agree. I was really looking forward to Infamous Second Son anyway, because I'm a big Infamous fan myself. But at the same time, when I played it, obviously, the world they crafted was fantastic. But Delson Rowe was just not a very likable character to me. I felt that it's hard to top Cole. It would almost be as if Nathan Drake was taken out of Uncharted and you put somebody else in there. It's very hard to top him.
I agree.
Cole, and I say that, and I don't say that lightly, man. I say that because think about it like this. Cole was such a good character that he was believable if you were playing evil or if you were playing a hero. Delson Rowe doesn't really come off as a very believable bad guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So Cole was just a very well written character.
He was. And speaking of well written character, I believe that. Okay, I've read some reviews about Infamous First Light. First Light is the new DLC story expansion that Sucker Punch has just released onto the PlayStation Store for $14.99. I have to emphasize, it's only $14.99. Now, Joshua knows that I've played the game extensively. In fact, if you head over to the site, I have, man. I wrote a thorough, about a 1,000-word review on the game. I ended up giving the game an 8.5 out of 10. I've seen reviews that were giving it a 6. Eurogamer, they're very hard on a lot of games. I don't want to go into that too much, but they're quite interesting with their scores. IGN gave the game a 7, I believe a 7 or 7.5. However, not to say they're wrong in their opinion, because at the end of the day, a review is just that, an opinion. But when you're being paid to write the review, it's a professional opinion, right? So, So walking away from Infamous first, I'm blown away completely because of how dynamic she was, not only as a conduit with amazing abilities, but just her as a character. She's psychologically vulnerable. She has some issues where I think Sucker Punch emphasized her beginning, but they left their room for mystery. Um, her relationship with her brother. When you play Infamous Second Son and you meet her and you kind of are learning who she is, she seems a bit weird, crazy, over the top
Mm.
with her love for her brother.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when
she
you,
does.
I mean, she was almost like she was worshiping him almost. It seemed like in the game, it was disturbing. But you realize though, and the game didn't really emphasize this, but you realize that when you play First Light, her brother knew of her powers and was her only kind of security blanket in this midst of her newfound abilities. Almost how Delson Rose's brother was, but on a whole other level. And I like Delson Rose, he was cool, but Fetch is a such a better character. And you emphasize that a lot, Josh,
Oh
even
yeah.
a while back. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
talk
felt
about
like when I played through Second Son, I have not played the DLC yet, but when I played through Second Son, I felt like the little interaction that you have with Fetch, I felt that she was a much more interesting character than Delson.
mhm.
And every time I had an interaction with her, I was basically left with, I want more. You know, I want to see more about her. Who is she? You know, where did
Yeah,
she really come from? What's going on with her? She's a very, very interesting character. So I'm
she
glad she got
is.
her on DLC. She's truly deserved it.
She did, man. And it's funny because you're catching me online playing the game, even after I've completed it. In fact, I finished it for a second time, by the way. I went through it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a long game now. On my first playthrough, I finished it in approximately, I stated this in the review, I finished it 3 hours and 54 minutes. Now, okay, some people may say, well, that's too short. Well, it's not, because I did a few side missions, but I was so intrigued by the actual narrative that I kind of stayed along the path of the narrative and got that all knocked out. However, I'm now going through finishing all the other side mission ingredients, and you can spend close to 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 hours playing this game. Um, but one of the things I would love to see with this game with Second Son, when you finish the campaign, just giving us the ability to just go around and paint the walls or chase in her case lumens that enhance you. It's like, come on, give me like because you know how the grid of Seattle is kind of like it's sectioned off to which area you
Hmm.
want to hit and target, and then you complete it 100%. It's clear. Well, each level should have some type of mini boss battle. I would just love something to be more synced to that. Where once you complete the campaign, you go into this whole new not story. Okay, I finished this section, and it's like super amazing hard with all these crazy enemies coming at me with a mini boss at the end. I mean, there's so much they could have done with that
Yeah.
that they didn't do with Second Son or First Light. But I think, listen, when you play with Fetch, it feels like you're playing with Cole, even though the abilities are different. It's just how
Wow.
she moves. Yeah, it does. It feels like you're Cole. But what I like about this one as well is that it doesn't have that good or bad sequence. Now, I love the whole good and bad contrast, but that's not in this. You're not penalized for just crushing the innocent at
Mm.
all. I mean, like there'll be people like in this one, it's more centered around gangsters. So they'll be in the car doing drive-bys, like literally, and not just you put a car up, and it may hurt a bystander. You never penalize. I kind of like that. I
It
kind
just
of like
lets you
that.
go mayhem, huh?
Oh man, just let you go full tilt. It's beautiful. Yeah, so
Uh,
yeah, Sucker Punch did a great job with it, and for $15, I'm like, yeah, yeah. Anything less than an 8 score to me is offensive, but that's just me. That's just me. But but why you play a lot of games, man? What games have you been playing lately?
oh man, I've been all over the place lately, but I've been playing two games mainly here lately. I've
Okay,
been playing a lot of Diablo, and
really? Okay.
yeah, and a lot of Warframe. I mean, I don't think I really need to tell anybody about Diablo. It's been out what 2, 3 years now, so
Yeah,
everybody
Diablo 4.
know. Yeah, but they finally they brought it to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those games, man, where they dangle that carrot in front of you, the quest for finding better and better loot.
Okay.
It just drives you to go further and further on, kind of like Destiny. You remember how we were playing Destiny,
Other than,
and you get
oh
that better
man.
gun, and you want to keep striving to get better and better weapons? If
Ah,
anybody's played Borderlands, they know what I'm
yes.
talking about. Where it just
Exactly.
it pushes you. But they added a few features for consoles that made it quite nice. Like particularly the PlayStation 4 version, you have these things called Nephilim Rifts, where you go in and you fight this pretty much waves of enemies. And they have one called the Last of Us Rift, where the enemies that you're fighting are clickers, bloaters, runners. It's pretty neat.
It's like from the game Last of Us. Are you serious?
Yeah, they brought all the enemies from The Last of Us and put in for the PlayStation 4
Ah,
version.
that's sweet.
It's pretty
Really?
cool. It's pretty cool fighting clickers in Diablo, man. It's pretty interesting.
Okay,
But
that's
and they
awesome.
also added this thing for the consoles called the Nemesis, which is only on the
Okay.
consoles. The PCs don't have this, but basically there's a boss that invades your game no matter where you're at. Well, you have to be out in the world. It won't do it in like a hub area, but if you're out in the world, doesn't matter what level you are, he'll invade your game. And if he kills you, he just goes down your friend list killing friends, and the more friends he gets, the stronger he kills. And he just
Really?
he just yeah, it's a boss, and he's called a nemesis or whatever. And but right before he comes in, you start hearing like these war drums, and then these horns start sounding, and then like a controller starts to vibrate like crazy, and
Okay.
then you hear him like squeal, and then he just appears in, and he just starts going ham on you. And if he like for instance, if you played the game and he killed me, he would invade your game and try and kill you. And if he killed
Really?
you, then he would become more powerful and go to another person on your friends list to try and kill them. And then whoever that last poor soul is, he's just up against it because he's gonna fight the more powerful version of the guy.
So this feature is on PS4, Xbox, and Xbox One, 360, and PS3.
No, the PS3 didn't get it. I don't think they gave it to the PS3 and 360, but I know for sure it's on the PS4 because they were sending new features for the Ultimate Evil
Wow.
Edition or whatever. So it could be. I'm not. I'm
Oh,
not. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's amazing. It's an amazing
yeah.
addition to the game. And let's say he kills
Wow.
you and he invade my game
Uh-huh.
and I kill him, he would
Mhm.
drop a legendary item for you that I can gift to you because I took him out. And usually he always drops some really good loot or whatever. But
You can share that loot with me.
yeah, it'll be for you, and I can just gift it to you.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's sweet.
It's a brilliant idea, brilliant
Yeah.
addition to the console version of the game. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty
See,
legit, man.
I played Diablo 3. To say I played it extensively would be a bit overboard in my statement, but I
Yeah.
played it and I loved it. I loved it on the PS3 and also on the 360. I saw it being played on the PS4 and Xbox One. The game is beautiful, man.
Yes.
So that's what you've been playing a lot of. But you've also been talking to me about this new update for Warframe, man. And we love
Yes.
Warframe. You know,
Mm.
we've been doing our thing on that game. Um, what's your feeling? Because the game comes to Xbox One September 2nd. Are those guys in for a treat?
Oh man. Let me tell you. I think those guys are really, really in for a treat because, like, for instance, the PlayStation version of the game that we got when we first got our PS4s was like a very, very early build of the game. It's a free to play game, online only game, so it's constantly evolving. And when we got the game, it was a PC game coming to consoles. And usually, when it happens, it's not quite clear of what you need to do. It's a lot of console gamers like to be spoon fed. You know,
Yes, we do.
and PC games usually don't do that. At least this one doesn't, and it can be a frustrating start. It can be very off-putting from the start because you don't know how to acquire new warframes, weapons. You really don't know what you're doing at all. But what they did with the new update, they added in an epilogue where it starts at the very beginning of the game, just like any other game, and it just takes you through a tutorial, and it tells you where you're at, what's going on, why you're here, how to use your powers, how to do wall running, how to do melees, the whole nine. We didn't get that when we first started playing it.
No, we
We
didn't.
just had to figure it out as we go. Which I think is one of the reasons why there's not a lot of people playing it is because it's such an off-putting game at that time. It was, because you just didn't know
Right,
what to do, and there was nothing
right.
really explaining. But the Xbox One, they're getting such a much better build of it than we got. With the whole And now you have, like they added with the new update, you have player spaceships. You have your own spaceship that you can,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that you just kind of bum
man.
around on after missions or whatever, and then they added an update where you have pretty much anybody who has played Warframe, you have a companion, which you call the Sentinel, which is pretty much like a hovering little robot or whatever that, it's like 4 or 5 different ones and they all do different things or whatever. But now they added a dog in there called Kubero in Warframe lore, and
Not even
you
oh, I'm sorry. Let me ask you a question real quick. So you can have the Kuguro, and then you also have this. Like I love my little floating killer. He's
yeah.
amazing. But I haven't got the dog. How to feel about it? My question to you, Josh, is: could I have both the dog Kuguro, dog, the Kuguro, and the floating drone, or how did that work?
No, you have to take one or the other. Like the Kubero takes the slot of the Sentinel and vice versa.
Okay,
But if
simple.
it makes sense when you play with it, you'll see what I'm saying. Because if they give you both, it's just be too overpowered.
Like a
Like,
Navy SEAL, one man army.
yes, because the dogs are legit. Like they're not just there for cosmetics. Like they can be very powerful allies.
And they can
They're
level up as well.
yes, they do. Like I'm in the process of taking mine to a level 30 now. Like the way it works is when you build your ship, you have to build an incubator and you have to get the parts for it and the blueprints. It's like you do everything else in Warframe, and it takes I think
Yeah.
12 hours to build it. Then you have to acquire when you first start, you have to acquire an egg and you incubate this thing, and you don't know what you're gonna get. It's gonna be a random. It's very random with your first one, and you go, it's 4 different breeds. There's a tank one that's more like a guard dog. It's called the Raska, and there's another one called the Sahasa. I think that one's like the stealth one. He's been trained in the arts of stealth or whatever, and he'll sneak with you and just pounce out on enemies. There's the one that currently I have right now. I have a puppy that's the Raska, and I have the Sneaker, which is
Hmm.
a very aggressive one, which is considered a war dog. Like like I was telling you last night with the
Yeah.
capture
Yeah.
missions or whatever, he will go grab the VIP and hold them down until you get there. So you're not just running around the level chasing this guy
See,
around.
See, those who have not played Warframe don't understand what you just said because that's such a convenience. I mean, if you don't have that, I mean, we're chasing this guy, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's
So,
fast.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Truly.
he's fast. I cannot remember the last breed of him, but anyway, the first
Okay.
one, it takes 2 days for the puppy to mature into an adult. And once he matures into an adult, you have a mission where you have to go. You have to defend the Kubro on a defense mission for a couple of waves, and you have to get a Roken technology collar for the dog. After that, you can take the dog on a mission with you, and proceed to level him up. The same would anything else in the game. And there is also, like, for instance, last night I bred my dog with a friend of mine's dog. I had the Sanika and he had the
You can
Raska.
breed. Wait, yeah. You
Yeah,
can breed the dogs.
yeah. So, like the mother, like the puppy ended up being a Raska mixed with a Sanika. I'm curious to see how the stats of the dog is going to be when he's an adult, or she's an adult rather. The puppy's a she, but like my dog was a Sanika. The father was a Sanika, and his dog was a female. It was the Raska. So we bred them to see what we're going to end up with, and it's
That's so wild, man. This is a
yeah,
video game,
I
dude. That's
know, I
crazy,
know,
man.
I know. And then I've been watching videos. So with the next update, they're adding in more customization to the dogs. Where like now you don't have any control over what fur pattern your animal's gonna have, what color he's gonna be, or any of that. So you see some pretty rare ones out there. I was lucky. I was
Okay.
lucky enough to get a rare one myself, but they're gonna give you control as with everything they do in Warframe in the next one. And then the next
Yeah.
update, I think they're gonna give us. We're going to the new ice planet too. I think it's gonna be on Pluto. I think they're saying moon of Pluto or
Right.
something like that. So yeah, man.
Huh. Okay.
I found a new love for Warframe. I put it down for a while, but after this new
Sure.
update, it's just crazy.
Well, just to tell those watching or who will be seeing this video that I was always intrigued by Warframe. Got my hands on it at first at E3 when they announced that it was coming to the PS4. I was like, wow, I couldn't wait for this to go cross-platform to not only the PS4 but also Xbox One as well. Now that's happening September 2nd. But once it landed on the PS4 and I was playing it, like you said earlier, it did not hold your hand. It was almost like a relationship where you had where you had to just figure it out.
Hmm.
But it was so stylish. Digital Extreme just brought you this vicious, action-packed, cooperative affair that you just said, listen, I got to figure it out. Well, my schedule didn't permit that I could really digest it. You held my hand, I should say, for the most part, because I was driving you crazy. Swag, let's play. What is this? What is that? So you actually just took me through it. But you quickly learn and pick up on things.
Hmm.
But again, once you understand how to play the game, you still are. Well, we were still. I was still just basically scratching the surface because from mods to having dojos to now you have your own spaceship. They got the whole Arcwing DLC that's on the way. It's oh my god. Warframe is nasty. It's truly an amazing game, and it's not the game. Reviews came up with this game when it came out on PS4 and on PC. It is not that game today. It's
No,
not.
it's night and day.
Not.
They've updated the visuals in so many
Oh
updates.
man, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nuts,
Really.
man. It's nuts. They've
Yeah.
put a lot of work in, and the game is just constantly evolving, constantly evolving. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So there's some games I've been playing too, Josh. I don't want to take up too long, but I mean, of course, I'm long-winded, but I'll just throw these games out at those who be watching. Of course, my spotlight game for this week was Infamous First Light. Love the game. Head over to the site game-insiders.com. I wrote a comprehensive review. I gave the game an 8.5. I thought it richly deserved it. It's not a very long game, but it's full of content. There's a game from Loot Entertainment called The Last Tinker City of Colors. And of course,
Mm.
I love my platformers. Um, I never second guessed this game, but I've been waiting for a platformer, the likes of the Jack and Daxters or Ratchet and Clanks. Um, and I just love that play style. I love the stories in those games. They really just pull you into like this Pixar interactive experience. And so I've been looking for that. And I saw this game, and I said, I'm gonna just take the plunge. And so uh, jumped on it and played it, and wow! I mean, it's that it's well, one of the things that I'm intrigued by outside of the actual gameplay was the story and the messages within the game. We understand that race relations is a very right now, especially in America, race relations
Mm.
is at all time high, and it's quite aggressive right now. But the, the game the game is about the world of colors, and what's shrewd about it is that there's this one dominating color that wants to just ruin everything, and all the other mixed colors or collage or montage of colors want to be together. Now these colors are represented throughout the game, and there are different creatures that represent those colors. You have the orange crew, the blue, the green, what have you, and you're the last tinker. You're this special type of kid. You resemble that of a monkey, but you're not a monkey, you're a tinker. And along your quest, you meet people that say certain things that as an adult you pick up on them. And it's really educational with kids because it teaches your child to love all colors of people. I mean, because a kid is colorblind. They don't know that you're black or white or unless you as a parent instill that in them, right? So when you play
Mm.
this game, uh, they're so for all the colors coming together. But along the way, man, I mean, it's just this fun ride that for me, I love games where I get stomped and it's a puzzle, so it offers that. Um, I love the game, man. I'm yet to write a review on it. I started, so I got into other games, games on my plate right now. But I'm gonna finish the review on that one.
Mm.
I love the game. It's only $15, man. I definitely recommend people check that game out. Um, I also checked out Counter Spy. I played that till I'm blue in the face. Right now, my son is playing that like crazy. Um, I thought Counter Spy would be better than it is, to be quite honest with you.
Oh,
It's fun.
were you disappointed?
I'm gonna say yes and no. What saved Counter Spy from being disappointing for me was that there were other games that I could just put that down and go to,
Wow,
right?
really?
Um, yeah, like if there was no Tinker, City of Color, Infamous First Light, or that psychotic, crazy PT demo to play, then I won't say fully disappointed, but I'm expecting more of a fleshed out narrative with a character that you get to know and evolve. That's not the experience you're gonna get with Counter Spy. I'm gonna have a review on that out very soon. I like Counter Spy, but
is it worth the
I
money?
thought it could have been at $15. Wow. No, it's not worth $15. It's not worth $15. I'm gonna say it's not worth $15. When I first started playing it, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! I love this. This is great." Because you don't really know what you're getting into. But it's a really good game. But to say it's not worth $15, understand my point. I'm comparing that to other games that are $15, like The Last Tinker, Color. Much better experience. First, much better experience. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Counter Spy. I did spend the money for it. But if I knew what I knew now, then I would wait. And I would tell people wait for it to become a PlayStation Plus edition. You know, as a PlayStation Plus free game, oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. You know, you're not spending my money.
Can I say something?
Please.
I want to know about this new game you just started playing.
I was just about to get that. I was just about to get on that. So Josh, earlier we were talking about it. I told you that I played Metro Last Light when it came out on PS3 and 360. I played through the game literally 3 times. I did. From start to finish 3 times. I fell in love with it. Why? Because when I played Metro 2033, I was absolutely disgusted with the game. And I'll be about that because when you read about Metro Last Light, or excuse me, Metro 2030, it's an incredible story. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
And it is. And then when you think, wow, it's an interactive experience. Okay, this is going to be great. And I'm going to say that the developer at the time, they really got their act together going into Last Light. And that's what we're getting right now with this Metro Redux. Do I recommend it? You cannot buy this game fast enough, in my opinion. I'm playing Metro 2033. It's actually looking at me right now. I have it on the call screen. And just what they've done from building it from the ground up with the visuals. Again, the Metro 2033, the game wasn't a bad game. It just did not have the right ingredients to make it a great or a very good game. Story was good. Like, as I'm playing it now, I still remember some of these sequences. However, it's so much better, so much more immersive. And I can't emphasize enough, man. This thing it's wow. Yeah, if you have Xbox One or PS4, get this game. And again, I played Last Light. I did buy Last Light, the Redux version, because sure, I'm pretty sure it's going to look better and have so much more added with content here and there. But I just didn't feel like I needed to. I played through the game 3 times. I wanted to see what they did with 2033. You were right, Josh. You told me that they were going to be looking at making it similar to the Last Light experience, but better. And
yeah,
$25 was fair.
I played Last Light. I didn't finish it, but I played. Something came out that caught my attention. I think it might have been Tomb Raider or something that year. But I liked it. It was a fantastic game, you know. So as soon as I heard about this remake, I was all over that. Like I picked it up the other night, and it's added to my backlog now. My backlog is just crazy. It's continually growing, and it's like everything is about to come to a standstill here in a week or so when that imminent release of the game that we're not going to talk about. But
no doubt.
Yeah, so my back is definitely in there. I'm glad you like it. I was waiting to hear your opinion on it. So I'm definitely going to be playing that.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it, man. Definitely. I recommend it because, you know, again, I'm looking at it saying, wow, $25. Interesting. You know, and it's, I think, you know, says it all. So I'm not saying it's like the best thing since sliced bread, but it's such a resurrecting of a game that I was just frustrated with. you know.
Yeah. To add to that though, they're making another Metro game. They're currently working on another one.
Is it called Metro 2035?
I'm not sure.
You know,
They didn't give a title. They just said that we are working on another Metro game.
and the reason why I asked that is because I'm playing last or 2033, and I was walking with my main character, Ardian, and there was an NPC sitting there reading the novel, and I walk up to him, and he says, "Hey, man, I'll get your book back to you as soon as I'm done with it." And I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I look down the book, and the book was called Metro 2035. I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, interesting. So,
I haven't seen the book 2035 yet. I know the first two, but I haven't seen this second one, third one rather.
third one, yeah. So, and the events of Last Light are right behind the events of 2033. So you never know. Maybe something hidden. You know, maybe one of those Easter eggs, like with the game ODST, where you see actually the picture of the traveler within the game ODST. If people don't realize that, the traveler is
Oh
pertaining to the
wow.
game Destiny. And if you play ODST, you'll see on the wall, it's as vivid as you possibly see. You see the traveler, so it's basically foreshadowing.
Hitting to what was coming. That's
What was
pretty
coming,
cool.
man. Yeah, it's awesome. So those are the games that I played this week. Those are the games you played.
Hmm.
Um, Let me ask you a question, Josh. There's a question for you. We're not gonna talk about the demo. I'm gonna ask you a question. Will PT Silent Hills plural be a PS4 exclusive? You know it's gonna be on PS4.
I
Will
don't
it be
think
a
it's.
PS4 exclusive?
I don't think it's gonna be an exclusive. I mean,
No.
if it did, that would be massive.
Sure.
But I mean, it's a Kojima game, so
Hmm.
I'm hard pressed to believe that's going to be an exclusive because there hasn't been much talk about it. I'm thinking that if it was going to be an exclusive, Sony would have been sure to let us know about that, you know. But
Good point. That's a
even
good point.
still though, I think this is a game that everybody should get to play. After playing that demo, I want everybody to experience that. Yeah,
Sure.
I personally hope it's not exclusive. I hope everybody gets their hands on that one.
I agree with you, 100%. Yes, yeah, and you know, I think you kind of hit on the head. You know, and maybe Sony's playing the home role, but you know, when Microsoft at recently at Gamescom announced that the Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to be
Oh
exclusive.
man.
Well, when they said it's going to be exclusive on the Xbox One for holiday 2015, I think that would have been uh, the right time to announce, well, this game Silent Hill is going to be exclusive. For Sony not
Hmm.
to have announced that, you may be onto something. You may be onto something. So, you know. So, jumping into these topics of discussion today, I want to immediately go into the VGChartz latest hardware sales that ended the week of August 23rd. Now, a lot of people sometimes want to say that these charts are not credible. And so I listen. I listen to what people have to say, and then I do my own little cross comparisons. And I will say that since the beginning of 2014, this year to today, when you look at VGChart's numbers and what they predicted and what they've announced, and then you leverage them next to the in numbers, you find that they're very close.
Yeah,
Very
they're pretty
close.
accurate.
Yeah, they're close. So I'm going to hold on to their latest numbers as close to the latest week's sales. Now we know that the Xbox One's uh, hardware is now $399, um, and they have a very bright future in the next month and a half, and I want to talk about that. But looking at these numbers for this last week in the U.S., I was a bit blown away by the numbers in the U.S., Japan. Well, not necessarily Japan, but the U.S. and Europe especially. So let
Hmm.
me go over this real quick and just break the numbers down. So on the PS4's front, Sony moved 57,628 PS4s in the US. They moved another 65,983 in Europe. And they only moved 5,669 in Japan. So Sony, week ending August 23rd, pushed 159,000 plus PS4s. The Xbox One did 35,953 in the US. Now, this next number is crazy to me. Okay, I just mentioned that in Europe, PS4 did 65,983 in the week ending August 23rd. The Xbox One in the same region did only 12,016.
Mm.
Okay, so that was a bit alarming to me. Like, wait. Are you serious? Now, what's also interesting about that number is in Europe, the Wii U did 18,742. Now, while the Wii U outsold the Xbox One in Europe for that week, the Xbox One outsold the Wii U in the US. Where the Wii U kind of had that slack was in Japan, we finished with 8,136. So the Wii U finished for the week of August 23rd with 54,000 consoles sold, and the Xbox One finished with 53,000 consoles sold. Sony again at 159,000, meaning they sold 3 times as many as both the Wii U and the Xbox One. That's not surprising. We understand the
Yeah.
PS4 is just. And in fact, I'll say this, Josh. And a lot of people that kind of bleed green or blue, whatever you want to call it, don't want to hear this, but it's the truth of the matter. Objectively, looking at all 3 pieces of hardware right now, the PS4 is not really a console race against the Wii U or the Xbox. I think it's wishful thinking to say that it is at this point. 10 million sold in 9 months. You know, they're pushing out 100 plus every week. They're not competing with anyone but themselves. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, they're competing
Uh,
against the ghost of the PS2 right now. That's what they're doing.
there you go. That's what I have to agree with. Whereas I think Microsoft is really truly competing against Nintendo's Wii U. I say that because the Wii U had what, a year head start over the Xbox One, like the Xbox 360 had a year head start over the PS3.
Hmm.
The reason why we kind of bundle the Xbox One with the PS4 is because a lot of the same properties that are multi-platform on
Yeah.
both systems. In last generation they were going neck and neck. Um, so after looking at these numbers and then thinking about the forecast of games coming out for the Xbox One, Josh, I had this like I had positive notions as well as scary ones about the
Mm.
Xbox One. And my point is this: beginning September 30th, in fact, beginning September 9th, up until November 11th, okay, Microsoft has a great opportunity to leverage some serious market share with the Xbox One. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, we understand that the Xbox One is not in all the regions. They're going to be pushing it out to these newer regions, and that's going to help them. Good. But I think more importantly is when I look at the software lineup that's coming out, and I wrote it down on my little trusty little note here, and check this out. And I think this is something Microsoft really truly needs to capitalize on with like a blitzer marketing approach. Beginning September 3rd, September 3rd sees the launch of both the multi-platform and an Xbox One exclusive. We have Shadow of Mordor that same day with Forza Horizon 2 on the Xbox One. Okay. Now let's start before that. Tonight we understand that Destiny is arriving. Okay. Now, while the world over is pretty much saying that the people want to run away with the idea that that's a PS4 game, I wouldn't argue that. I would not argue that. But you have to understand people will buy Destiny for the Xbox One. Okay, they will. Now, with that excitement that the game is available on the Xbox One, those people that are playing that game, right after, during the midst of that excitement, Josh, you're going right into September 30th with Forza Horizon 2. Then, October 7th, Project Spark becomes an official release on the Xbox One. All right, follow me here. October 21st, you have the Disney Fantasia Music Evolve. That's another Xbox One exclusive. Then, October 28th, you have Sunset Overdrive, which is an Xbox One exclusive. And then, right after that, November 11th, you have the Halo Master Chief Collection, obviously an Xbox One exclusive.
Hmm.
And then, looking at the games that are sprinkled around that time frame, which we're talking about basically about what 5 weeks, 5 close to 6 weeks. Uh, if you take out the Destiny launch, you begin to see games like the potential of Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out during the month of October.
Hmm.
You have Sleeping Dogs, the Definitive Edition, coming out in October. You have Assassin's Creed Unity, which comes out the same day, which is November 11th, as the Halo Master Chief Collection. You have The Evil Within in October. You have Alien Isolation in October. You have Lords of the Fallen in October. And these are all on the Xbox One. Not exclusively, but they're there. So my point is this. Looking at the sales numbers that we just saw here, it's clear that Sony is running away with this generation as far as it being a race. Yet, when I look at the software that's coming to the Xbox One in the next, September, October, early
Hmm.
November, what we're seeing is an opportunity for Microsoft. Here's the bad side. If Microsoft does not sell the numbers that the PS4 is pushing right now during that time frame, that won't be good. In fact, it will be worse than it won't be good. Because when you look at the forecast of games for the next 6 months after the holidays of this year, you don't see any type of barrage of games coming to the Xbox One of this quality in such an abundance in such a short period of
No.
time. The system's $399. October, they're saying they're going to be launching the Connect sold separately with this list of games. Do you believe that the Xbox One during this time has its best shot at outselling the PS4 in maybe
No.
one of those months?
No. I don't. I You remember a couple months ago on the show,
Mm-hmm.
you did a segment where you asked, I think it was me, Emmanuel, and myself, about what Microsoft needed to do to catch up. And I was like, it's not necessarily what Microsoft needs to do, it's what Sony needs to do. And like to counter everything you just said there, um, like with Destiny, Destiny is gonna sell probably 1 million or 2 consoles, our PS4s alone. I'm willing to bet that. I'm willing to bet Sony's probably gonna move another
Yeah.
1 million or 2 consoles just off Destiny. Like
That's
Destiny,
so insane.
I know Destiny is. I don't think anybody's gonna argue the biggest game coming out this year, and it's tied so closely with the PS4. And plus, they have the Destiny bundle now too, that Glacier White PS4, which is very sexy, by the way.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
it's Xbox just doesn't stand a chance. You know what I mean? They'll sell more copies of Destiny than there are Xbox Ones out there, more likely. You know, so the gap in the install base is just that big. I would not be surprised.
Wait. Hold on, Josh. You said something very interesting. You say that they might sell more copies of Destiny on the PS4 than there are Xbox Ones on the market. Is that what you
I am making that prediction. I'm thinking it because there's only about 5 million
said?
Xbox Ones. There's over 10 million
Yeah, okay.
PS4s out there, and I guarantee you over 50% of the PlayStation community is gonna buy Destiny. So you know it's gonna be stupid. The pre-orders are already running away on the PlayStation version of it. You know, so it's
I
just
saw that. Yes.
you know what I mean. So they're gonna easily sell another 1 million or 2 PS4s with Destiny, and
But let me,
Microsoft's
okay,
not
but let me
gonna
ask
do
you
those
this though.
numbers anymore. Go ahead.
No. Well, let me ask you this though. Okay, so yeah, strong argument that the momentum of Destiny on the PS4 is going to really do a lot of. In fact, when I said that the PS4 the week ending August 23rd, the PS4 did 159,000. That's 3 times as many Xbox Ones in the same.
Mm-hmm.
However, to assume that the PS4 would do that when Destiny launches is almost a no-brainer. But my question, however, is: do you think? And again, I'm not saying that the Xbox One will with these great list of awesome exclusives and multi-platforms coming to the Xbox One. I'm not assuming that it's going to outsell the PS4 in a given month during the holidays. But looking at September 30th to November 11th, and I see Microsoft's best shot at stealing a month from Sony.
Well,
I do.
see,
Now you're saying that's not going to happen.
no, I was about to get to that. Like you mentioned Forza. Forza is getting destroyed by Drive Club right now in comparison videos. Like, have you seen the latest one where they did the weather comparison?
Weather effect? Yes, I saw it. Yeah.
It was. It would be painful to have built that game. It was miles different in quality, you know. So,
yeah. But hold on. Right, that's different. To Forza's defense, it is a bigger, broader experience. I mean, that weather comparison video was like a bit of an eye opener because I'm like, wow. I mean, Drive Club is ridiculous. Yeah. But consumers don't look at the technical side for the most part. They just say, what have you done for me lately? They look at it and say, okay, that's what I want. So you're right there. Absolutely. Understand that. And that's coming out in October as well. Drive Club is a game that's coming out in October. In fact, I was messing with Sony Online Entertainment today. I tweeted something real crazy. I said to them, I said, by the way, shoot me the date of the launch of PlanetSide 2 on the PS4. I said, do it real quick so nobody can see it. You know, they didn't respond to it. I'm like, idiot, you know. But that's a game I'm looking forward to on the PS4 as well. But again, September 30th to November 11th, I just see that as a huge window of opportunity for the Xbox One. If Sony continues to run away with, let's say hardware sales during that September 30th to November 11th time frame, then I believe Microsoft. I think right now, I can't be the only person that identifies with this list of games coming to the Xbox One. That September 30th to November 11th, that is an amazing list of games coming out. That's not even counting Call of Duty, which
is going to sell more on the PlayStation 4.
It will. I mean, due to attrition, PS4 10 million copies. Well, no one's arguing that. No one's arguing that.
The thing that they need to help them is for these third-party games to move. And that's not going to happen. Like, nowadays, it's like, you know, last gen, for instance, they rely heavily on third-party games to move their consoles.
Microsoft.
That is not going to gain them any ground in this console war. Because the PlayStation 4 now is pretty much the default console. Somebody wants a new console, they think about a PS4, and apparently by the sales, they're going to get them. You know, so pretty much any multi-platform game, you can just about bet that it's going to sell more on the PlayStation 4. Like, for instance, Diablo. The PS4 version of Diablo topped the Xbox 360 as the best-selling console version of that game. I'm not quite sure how many is sold, but it's default now. If you put a multi-platform game in, it's going to outsell it. And then I think you're also forgetting the fact, too, is that I know you mentioned Halo, and you mentioned Sunset Overdrive. But you forgot that one of Sony's biggest franchises is launching this year, too, Little Big Planet.
Yes,
that's gonna move quite a few numbers. I mean, to me, I don't really care too much for Little Big Planet, but this is a multi-million-dollar selling game. You know what I mean? It's a big deal to some people. So it just seems like, and then not to mention a game that I think everybody's talking about right now, No Man's Sky is coming to the PlayStation 4 this year as well. At least that's been part of the rumors.
Confirmed? Right. Now you're right. There's a lot of talk about that. You know, you have a lot of people. In fact, what's interesting about No Man's Sky is there are a lot of dedicated Xbox One users that are begging for this game. I don't blame them.
Me either.
From what you and I've seen, it looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. You know, if that game comes out this year, that'd be. You know, in fact, I'm gonna say this. I don't want it to come out this year. Now, as a selfish gamer, yes, come out tomorrow morning, please. But it doesn't need to. If it's going to be only on the PS4, it doesn't really need to. And I would encourage the developers not to put it out right now. Looking at the list of games that are coming to both the PS4 and Xbox One, and then the exclusives on the Xbox One, the exclusives on the PS4, I want No Man's Sky to do incredibly well. I do. I just think that the elephant in the room, known as Destiny. Listen, when Destiny releases, 3 months later, like a lot of games a month after Destiny will suffer because Destiny's alive. They will, because people are going to be consumed by that game. I believe that. But again, No Man's Sky, if that comes out this year, wow. Let me ask you this, Josh. So, if because I don't see Microsoft offering anything as compelling as what they're offering from September 30th to November 11th. That seems like wow. I mean, that's if I only have an Xbox One, I'm personally saying I'm good, truly,
Mm-hmm.
because that's an amazing list of games that are exclusive and multi-platforms, right? If I only have Xbox One, I don't really care about. Well, I do, but I'm not really that fixated on resolution not being as high or frame rate not being high or whatever. The game will look good. I'll play it and have fun. My question is, if Microsoft does not gain significant ground or any type of significant ground market share wise as we go into those Thanksgiving week, would you recommend Microsoft lowering the price? Would they have to lower the price of the Xbox One to compete? Because right now, I
I
think compete. What do you think?
I think they should have lowered the price last year. It's
Okay.
just it's man, it's to the point now where it's like you're not offering compelling enough games for the thing.
Okay.
It's suffering from a huge resolution issue.
Okay.
And I mean I know people say they don't care, but in the ultimate scheme of things, that's a problem
It
because
is.
that's why
Sure.
Microsoft is trying to address it now. And they
Mm-hmm.
were the very ones coming out saying that resolution is not that big of a deal. It's all about the gameplay, trying to damage control it. And now that every single thing on the PlayStation 4 is running much better than it is on the Xbox One,
Yeah.
Microsoft's trying to control that. They're forcing developers to hit 1080p at the cost of frame rate. That's a problem. That's one of the things that happened with Diablo on the Xbox One version. They had the game running smoothly at 900p, but Microsoft said no, that is unacceptable. We want this game at 1080p. So there goes your frame rate issues because they can't
Mhm.
push it, at that resolution smoothly.
Right.
And you're having these problems, and gamers pay attention to this. They hear, oh well, the PlayStation 4 has a better version. Same thing we heard last gen with the 360 and the PS3. Every single cross-platform game was better on the 360 than it was on the PS3. You
For the
know,
most part, yes.
yeah,
Yes,
and
that's
then
right.
you're selling that console at the same price or more expensive. They're not equal. Stop trying to sell them like they're equal. That's a huge problem, and I think it's one that they need to address. The price of the Xbox One needs to be lowered. I still
How
don't
much
think
lower?
they will catch Sony if they lower it because at this point it's over for them. And when it comes to them against Sony, I said this months ago, and I still feel this way.
You did.
It's
You did.
basically Microsoft versus Nintendo at this point. Sony is out there in another stratosphere doing their own
Mm.
thing. First impressions are priceless because you cannot take them back. Microsoft burnt so many bridges off the back, and people are just done. You know what I mean? And it's nothing they can do this generation to really get into serious competition with Sony. Because
Yeah.
they
Well,
screwed up too bad from the start.
yeah, they definitely dropped the ball initially. Um, but I believe, we talked about this before, Josh, but there are things that they can do. I was to get back, let's say, a million accounts behind the PS4 or on par with the PS4 as far as market share. I personally believe that sell as far as them having a chance to win this generation or sell more consoles than Sony with the PS4 and Xbox One. I think that's sold, but I will say that depending on their bottom line, depending on Microsoft's bottom line, I think right now it could be a matter of how do we make a profit with the Xbox One.
Mm.
That's important. I think that becomes super important. You want to be able to say, like for example, Sony has the luxury of scratching their heads and saying, "Oh, here, how many consoles have we sold? Yeah, we 10 million." They'll tell you. I mean, it doesn't matter. They don't have to hide it because so that's market share. That's that mind share that they now have. That makes you say, okay, they're the most popular. They must be the best,
Hmm.
right? So they have that luxury. Whereas I think Microsoft, even though they don't have that, they can have another luxury of saying we are more affordable by offering the same multi-platform games with other unique and subjectively better experiences, arguably better experiences from a exclusive standpoint. But again, can they afford to say can they or to ask the question, can Microsoft afford to drop the price? Well, yes, but I don't think a rich man just wants to lose money because he's a rich man.
Yeah, exactly. They're already losing money on the console, so
Right,
yeah.
right, right. So You know, and you're right. I mean, you look, for example, I think a good example would be the game that I mentioned earlier, the Metro Redux remaster. This is a game that came on the PS3 and 360. Unfortunately, it doesn't run at 1080p on the Xbox One. Now, that's surprising, and like you said, that's gamers know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you don't have the system that's offering games on par, it makes sense to not defeat it, but say, and however you want to package it, we're going to offer you a better experience more affordably. Instead of saying we're inferior, so we're going to make a console for you. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
You know, it's how you package the message, and I think they can gain ground, but again, that's dependent on how much money they're going to lose. Because what's that? Connect 2.0. They're going to be bringing that to the market for $149.99. My take on that, Josh, is I don't think it's going to sell like the original Connect, which pushed 20 million on 360. Not going to happen.
It won't, because I mean, people are going to look at this, and like me, for instance, I would, like, if I was into streaming and stuff like that, which is basically what people would be using the Connect for anyway.
I would totally buy it.
Nobody cares about Connect games, but the thing is that you look at that, and then you look at the PlayStation 4, and their camera's only like $50, which all you need a thing for is streaming. That's all you care about is to stream. You're still being pulled in the other direction. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate for Microsoft, but I think it goes back to a thing that we said, and I hope I'm not jumping off subject here, is that Microsoft has to start looking at first-party studios. They have to start getting games that you can only get on Xbox One that are fantastic games. All this timed exclusive stuff, it's only costing them money. It's not helping them. Timed exclusive does nothing but piss gamers off. It does not make me want your console. It does not, make me feel like you're better. All I see when I see that is you spent a boatload of money to deny a certain audience a game. And that makes me even more angry, and I will never buy your console because you're doing that, and I really wish these businesses would stop doing that. It's the same thing with this exclusive DLC. You just piss gamers off when you do that. You're not gaining anything by doing it. No one's going to go buy the PlayStation version of a game simply because there's DLC for it. No. I don't understand why they are not seeing that, but that's Microsoft's weapon. They wield this thing with authority, like we can buy up this and it'll work for us. But I mean, it worked for them last generation, but this generation, it just will not work like that. Microsoft needs to get first-party games that really make you want this console instead of this time stuff. I mean, because next year, there's not a snowball's chance in hell for them unless they do something drastic. You know what I mean? I mean, it's nuts. Because Sony's starting the year off with The Order, Bloodborne. Regardless of how good these games are, they're exclusives that are generating mindshare. And then the end of the year, you got Uncharted. Microsoft has Halo next year. That's it.
They have Tomb Raider next year too.
But
I'm gonna throw a bone for him. Yeah, throw a bone.
But Tomb Raider has already been called a timed exclusive.
It is.
And even if it wasn't, if I was Square Enix, there's no way I would just throw my game in there as a sacrificial lamb, because Uncharted is gonna slaughter it. There's no way in this realm of Earth that Tomb Raider is gonna stand toe to toe with an Uncharted game. It's not happening.
Well, market share wise, no, it's not. I mean,
and besides, next year there might be 8 million Xbox Ones. This time we're talking next year, there's probably gonna be 20 million PS4s or plus. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy about that statement you just made? I'm serious. Because it's so, that could be very true. Because
I'm not trying to bash Microsoft either. I'm just saying
but what you're saying is it's scarring to me. I'm gonna tell you why it's scarring to me. Because I love competition okay, sure, we write and we're editors and we work in the industry, but at the end of the day, we love what we do. We go home and we play games, right? And so, and I don't want Sony to just away the competition or with
No.
Microsoft. I don't want that. And what you just said, however, oh my God, you said that next year, by the time Tomb Raider comes out, Microsoft will be lucky to have 8 million sold. And what's crazy about that statement is that could be a possibility. Now, I'm going to say I'm going to say they're going to have more than that sold. I think the holiday season is going to be big for Microsoft. Uh, let's not compare that to Sony. I'm not comparing it to Sony. I'm just saying for Microsoft, it's going to be a big month, a big year for them. Will they push as many Xbox One as they pushed last holiday? No, because the newness is gone, right?
Yeah.
But
I want you to think about this though, Derek, real quick.
Yeah,
I just want you to think about this.
be funny.
Right now, in the summer dry months, the dead zone, as we gamers like to call it,
Sure.
PlayStation 4 is outselling the Xbox One at an astronomical rate with nothing. This is the dead zone right now with really no games. We're talking not even third party.
Yeah.
Now, when the holiday season rolls around, that is going to multiply. Like, there's not a season that you can think of that this console, that Microsoft can get a foot in the door. Because unless they drop the price on that thing, the PlayStation 4 is going to be moving like hotcakes this holiday season. They didn't do that last year because you couldn't get them. Right. This holiday season, this thing is selling like this now. And just imagine in the holiday season with Call of Duty and Dragon Age and Far Cry and all of these games out there. Yeah. They're going to sell ridiculous. So whenever you see a point where the Xbox is going to pick up in sales, so is their competition. It's just that they have to start getting first-party support. I think that's the only way that they can get back into this thing. Like, they need to drop another Gears of War that was what we were used to playing, something amazing like that. These are the type of titles that they have to have in order to get back into it. Because next year, Uncharted is going to move 3 to 4 million consoles. I guarantee you that. Because when they show that game at E3 and people are just blown away by how this thing looks,
sure, yeah,
people are going to be saying, Tomb Raider who? And I don't say that lightly because you know how I feel about Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's again, all of the mind share is going to be there. And Microsoft would have just went out and spent a boatload of money on this game for nothing. So, I mean, it works out for Square Enix and Sony because Sony doesn't have to have this game compete against Uncharted, and Square Enix just got a boatload of money from Microsoft. So Microsoft is the only one here losing out because no one is going to go buy an Xbox One just to play Tomb Raider. It was not that big of a game. I mean, it was good. I loved it, but it was not that big of a game to say I want to go buy an Xbox One for it. As big a fan as I was, and I platinumed it, and I was like, I would not go buy an Xbox One just to play Tomb Raider. It's not that heavy of a game. It's not going to sell consoles for them.
Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't say that it's going to sell 3 or 4 million consoles. Looking back at an example of what you're saying, I think Titanfall is a great example. If a game was going to sell Xbox One, it would have been Titanfall. I mean, I was at E3. I got a chance to watch it being played. I was like, wow, right? And so, yeah, if a game is going to sell, if a game would have sold Xbox Ones, it would have been
that one.
It would have been Titanfall. True. But what you're saying right now, as far as what Microsoft should do, here's another thought. You see what Sony's doing with games like The Last of Us Remastered. It's top of the charts for the month of August. What do you have? You have Metro Redux that's out. Now looks amazing, plays very very well. Sony's already announced that they're bringing Journey back to the PS4.
I think that's a good move.
Great move. Square Enix did a fabulous job with the Tomb Raider. Definitive edition, right? And then we have word that Sony's also bringing, working with the guys over at Quantic Dream, they're bringing the game Beyond Two Souls, which if you head over to game-insider.com, I was, privileged to write the review for that game on the PS3. It's exclusive. They're saying that game is coming to the PS4 as well as Beyond Two Souls, the director's cut. That's the rumor right now, and I think it's going to happen.
So
Um,
do I.
we don't see any type of exclusive remasters coming from the Xbox library. And so I was thinking about this the other day. What games would I want to see? Because I think you hit on the head. One of the approaches that Sony took last gen was, how do we get from under this dark cloud? I mean, we say we have a more powerful system, but it's hard as heck to develop for, and multi-platforms look better than the competition system. What do? So we saw Sony take the initiative and start just dropping sick first-party games that were really remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you, and I think that Microsoft, however, they already have a lot of games in their stable, or I should say relationships they've built or established from last gen that I think they need to look at. For example, I would love to see remasters of the following games: Shadow Complex.
Mm.
Okay. I would love to see a remaster of Fable 2. I would love to see a remaster of Tenchu Z or Blue Dragon, or the original Dead Rising Apocalypse Now, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
or a wonder. Now, Alan Wake. If you look at Alan Wake right now, run on the Xbox 360 right now, that game is still gorgeous today.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
That would be an amazing remaster for the Xbox One. There's a game called Katana. Great game on the Xbox 360. Steel Battalion. Okay. Or there was
Yeah.
another game. There was another game. It was a side scroll game on the Xbox 360. I loved this game. It was called Deadlight. You were trying to survive this zombie apocalyptic world, but it was a side scroll game with 3D influence. It was great. Or Fable Heroes was another good Fable game. Or what about the game called Hybrid? The kind of
Oh
weird.
yeah.
Remember Hybrid? That was
Yeah.
an awesome game, man, on the Xbox 360. And then remember the game from the guys who brought us Shank and Shank 2, the game called Mark of the Ninja?
Oh, that was so good.
Wasn't that awesome? That was an
That was
amazing
so
game.
good.
Right? Only on Xbox 360. And then the game called Blood Forge. And it was a
Mm.
black and white. The game called Aztez from the guys over at Team Colorblind are coming out with a game called Aztez. Black and white. It reminds me of Blood Forge, but it's nowhere near the same. Aztez is more indie-ish, and Blood Forge is
Oh,
more
go hang on with Jay,
of
baby,
a
okay?
of
Are
a
you
double A.
talking?
To my friend. Go hang on with Jay. I'll be
I
right
see
back.
you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Um,
ahead.
My skin is. Trey's not here yet.
Yes, he's in his room. Go ahead.
I'm died.
Go.
hey Josh, that's your son or is that your daughter?
That's my daughter.
Your daughter?
She just, I'm sorry about that, man. She just woke
Oh,
up from her
please.
nap.
That's cool, man. Keeps it organic, brother. That's awesome. We have family. That's cool. No, but those games, man, like Blood Forge. I mean, if you took those games I just mentioned, Hybrid, Blood Forge, Mark of the Ninja, Deadlight, Shadow Complex, Tenchu Z, Dead Rising, Alan Wake, and you remastered those games, you can take the example of Metro 2033. If you look at this game on the Xbox 360 and PS3, it's an ugly game. When you see it on the PS4 and Xbox One, brother, it's like, are they
That
serious?
good, huh?
Oh my God, the comparison! Oh man, if you look at a PS3 version of this game and compare to the PS4 version, it's stupid.
Oh,
It's
man, you get me so excited to play this.
dude. And so, like, in fact, I need to write an article and just list these games and why Microsoft needs to do that, because it helps them not to spend so much money unnecessarily
Mm-hmm.
on, like you're saying, timed exclusivities. Right now, timed exclusivities for the Xbox One in the form of DLC does nothing for them. It does nothing for them. They can continue to do that, but I would say put that money into franchises that were already known as only on the Xbox 360 and bring them to the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Sony is going to be bringing the Beyond Two Souls. Last of Us is going crazy. They're bringing Journey, okay, and there's rumors of other PS4 games. Check out Square Enix. Square Enix brought you Tomb Raider, and now they're going to bring you Sleeping Dogs, the Definitive Edition, in October. Okay, so it's a serious market out there because a lot of gamers didn't buy these games last generation, but they look astounding on the hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that Microsoft can do.
I think
what do you
Gears of
think?
War should be added to that list. Like
Gears of War.
they should remaster that franchise. That is one of their biggest franchises.
I mean, think about it. That's a great addition. Remaster Gears of War and sell it as a bundle.
Well, imagine if they did it like the Master Chief Collection, where you could play all of them, all the old maps.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That would be amazing if they did that.
Yes, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. And you would want to have, and see what makes that even, all these games you're mentioning, with what you're saying, this Gears of War type of, let's call it Marcus Phoenix collection, okay? Then a Xbox 360 Xbox One at $299. You have to have the system.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. You know, when you if you bring that out when more information comes from Black Tusk with their efforts on the new Gears, if you bring out a Marcus Phoenix collection like that at $299 for the system, it just helps. But again, I don't know what that does with Microsoft's bottom line. I don't know how much they'll lose on that front. That's up to them. But last thing I want to go into, the last point I want to go into is how excited I am for the first time in a long time of Call of Duty.
Oh,
Josh, I'm truly excited about being excited about Call of Duty. Right? My last great Call of Duty experience was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That was, for me, the first one. The first Modern Warfare was the best. Now, Call of Duty, chasing after Makarov in one of those games was actually a great experience in the campaign. The multiplayer is a bit lackluster for me, but that's neither here nor there. But what I see Sledgehammer Games doing with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, man, I'm throwing my money at Activision.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they're getting all the negative press that they're getting on this. Well, not negative press, but negative fan reaction, I should say. You know, to me, it looks amazing. It looks different than any other Call of Duty. You know, it doesn't look like Titanfall to me. It's stupid to sit there and say just because they have jetpacks, it's Titanfall. No. That game plays nothing like Titanfall. And from talking to people that I know who have played it, it's still Call of Duty. You just have, you know, these added abilities to move around the map. It makes the game more dynamic, you know. So I'm in the same boat with you. I haven't bought a Call of Duty game in a long time. And this one, I'm very, very excited for. Like, this one, they got my pre-order already.
Already, right? You know, I would possibly, and this is just me maybe reaching, but I think the possibility of the negativity is coming from the concern of fans. Because when you think about Call of Duty, it's been the same game. And Activision, you know, guys, you know I got mad love for you. But the Call of Duty game that you've been offering has truly been the same iteration with slight variances, but truly the same game. So I say that to say, when gamers are playing the same game, many of these gamers become great at the same experience. That's all they're playing. When you look at Advanced Warfare, there are some new complexities to the gameplay, maneuverability, and approach to the experience. Because, you know, there's verticality in the gameplay now. There's ways in which you can straight left and right really quickly and fast to, you know, land a kill. You're right. I've heard as well, Josh, that a lot of people who play the game say, wow, it feels exactly like Call of Duty, but it has this bit of an infusion of some guerrilla steroids because you have this exoskeleton, but not just you. Everyone does. Even the combat is more sophisticated in how you can manipulate the battlefield. So, you know, I'm just like about time, you know, ready to buy my new Advanced Warfare t-shirt, rock it at church, right? I can't wait to play the game, man. I'm really excited to play Call of Duty, and I really hope Sledgehammer Games delivers on the game, and I can't wait to get my hands on our review copy and play it, and I'm hoping I can, you know, be favorable about it, because it's
I think you will. Right. Call of Duty always offers that bang-up single-player story, and
they do.
This multiplayer looks so good. It looks really good to me.
It
It
does.
just
It
looks
really, really
different.
does.
You know, it's something different. So I'm excited to play it.
I'm excited. Okay. I do talk a lot. I said that Call of Duty was going to be my last point. It's not. All right. One more point. All right. Now, I don't understand this. I just don't understand this about Nintendo. I really don't. Nintendo. I told you guys weeks ago on the show that I'm eating crow because I just thought that the Wii was done. The sales were just horrible. Nintendo has the amazing luxury of dropping one game or maybe two, and their
Yep.
sales goes crazy. I'm like, okay, this platform struggles to have third-party games. Yet they drop a Mario in a cart, Mario smoking a joint, whatever they want to do with Mario, man. The world over goes crazy, and it's just like, okay, Nintendo, do you not see that beautiful leverage that you have? For example, Joshua, where is my Metroid game? Where
Man,
is my Metroid game on the Wii U?
people
I
been
don't understand that.
that's been a requested game since the Wii U launched as a Metroid game. So
I don't. I mean, now there's a game coming out on the Wii U, called. I talked about this on the show a few weeks ago. Oh my God! I got a chance to watch a lot of the gameplay of it, and it looks awesome. I'm like, wow, that looks very promising. Devil's Third. That's the name of it. Devil's Third, and it looks whack. It looks quirky, but awesome. But I am waiting to see an epic, awesome Samus, Metroid, whatever you want to call it, experience. In fact, check this out. Imagine No Man's Skies, but as Samus, and she's able to traverse and have those epic first-person experiences. That would be ridiculous. I'm just throwing it out there for you, Nintendo. You ain't gotta pay me. That's an idea for you. I got love for you. I give my age. People think I'm a fossil, so I'm not gonna go there. But
hmm
I just can't wait. I just can't wait to play Metroid on the Wii U, man. But that's all we got for today, man. So Josh's prediction is, you my man, brother. So Josh is saying that there's no chance of a person in hell receiving a snow cone, which means that the Xbox One is in the same boat, as far as them trying to steal a month from the PlayStation 4 and the holidays. As far as selling
I
consoles,
see it's getting worse. It's gonna get worse in the holidays.
you
Yeah,
know,
this storm is gonna get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
okay. I'm a huge fan of Phil Spencer. That's my dude. He's an awesome
I
guy,
am too.
wonderful person. You want to see wonderful people succeed and do well. I don't know. It's just the more I think about, the September 30th to November 11th, the game's coming out. That window of opportunity is huge. If they don't seize that opportunity, and when I say seize the opportunity, I don't mean Microsoft is available with its consoles at retail, and they're just saying, "Hey, buy a system." No. There needs to truly be an approach to making gamers and consumers aware that there's a window of opportunity that when they buy an Xbox One, they're getting exclusives and multi-platforms with this unique nostalgia that they're not going to get anywhere else. And they need to really position that. If they don't position that, I'm afraid of, and this is a bold prediction, I'm afraid of the whole Xbox will belong to Microsoft after this generation. And again, people say, "Well, Derek, come on, dude, you're going there. The system hasn't even been out a year."
It's possible though. It's very
Listen to me.
possible.
Yes, first impressions are everything, and we know how that goes. So
hmm
I won't take too much time of yours from the family, and I need to eat me a big old huge bowl of Xbox One cereal to build up my confidence in Xbox. And I'm gonna jump up on this Metroid 2033. What game are you about to jump on tonight, Josh?
Oh man, probably some Diablo.
Diablo?
Probably. It depends if the wife doesn't take the PlayStation from me.
Nice.
You
The
know
wife
she's
is
on
a
her Resogun quest.
yeah, Resogun. You have a Resogun queen up in the house. That's awesome, bro.
Yes, she is.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's cool. There's a game behind me. It's a poster of a game behind me, man. The Dark Knight. You know, I can't wait to see to play Batman Arkham Knight, man. I'm really excited about that game.
You and me both.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick, brother. That's gonna be super, super awesome. So, guys, thanks for watching. We'll definitely have a show next week, every Friday. Josh will be joining me. Not every week. Josh has, you know, he lives in Hawaii, you know, so he owns his own island. So Josh is a very busy man. You know, wait, Josh, you know I'm not lying. You live in Hawaii, right?
I do live in
Yeah, so
Hawaii.
you gotta cover a lot of water to get to that, brother. So, yeah, he's a rich man. I'm trying to get on this level. So, thanks for joining it, brother. Appreciate it.
No
man.
problem, man.
Awesome. So, hey, maybe later on tonight we may jump some Warframe because I've been neglecting the Warframe. Been a little,
Yeah, you
little
have.
bit. I gotta get on, man.
Like
Gotta get me
you leaving me all alone out there.
Man, I gotta get on. I'm gonna get on there, brother. But it's that infamous, man. Oh my God, dude, it was awesome.
Well, you know I'm gonna be on there though.
Yeah, definitely. All right, brother. You hold it down, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too, man.
You guys watching? All right, brother.
All right, later.
Later.